All right, guys, welcome back. Hold My Helmet Football Podcast. Your host, Will Reichling here.
Co-host Dylan Boyle.
Dylan Boyle, we are going to get into our mid-season top 10. We're past week 9 out of 18 weeks. Now there's 18 weeks instead of 17, so it's just only fair enough to say after week 9, it's mid-season. So we are at our mid-season, midpoint, so let's do our top 10.
Favorite part of the season?
Yes, because that means we're halfway done with, and it really, honestly, I do agree, because now you kind of see the shitty teams, the good teams, and we're hitting the home stretch. November, December football is the best football.
It is. You can see the teams that are playing for a playoff spot. You know, the ones that don't have a shot, but then all of a sudden, come in as an underdog.
Come back or teams that are like 3-6 and then win 5 straight. Next thing you know,
and then they're in the conversation for playoffs. Yeah, it's exciting.
So let's just get right into it.
This was tough. This is like going over this. I thought it would be like a cakewalk. I kind of knew who I would have, but once you got after like your top 5, it's like it became really hard for me.
I agree. I think there's a lot of really good teams and really bad teams. Most seasons before this, there was a lot of parity, like a lot of 3-5, 4-4, 5-3 teams. I think there's a lot of 6-2, 6-3, and 2-7, 3-6 teams.
And then you had those teams that were really good but aren't playing really good. So it's like they're still good,
but they still have good records. Right? It's weird.
All right, let's just get into it.
Let's do it.
Why don't you start us off?
The best team in the league, number 1 on my midseason top 10, Detroit Lions. They've been blowing teams out. They didn't necessarily blow out Green Bay, but they dominated the entire game. They run the football, the two-headed monster. Those are 2 top 10 running backs right now, Gibbs and Montgomery. They just traded for Zadarius Smith from the Browns, so they just add more to the pass rush.
They're going all in.
Brian Branch is an all-pro safety. They added the corner in the draft that looks pretty impressive. And that offense coming on, once you get Jameson Williams back, you're going to have a really stacked offense with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Sam Laporte is finally starting to get involved again. And Jared Goff having an MVP-type season. This is a team that doesn't just beat teams, but they blow them through the water. And I really think if they played the Chiefs, they would potentially dominate them. I think if these two teams played, the Lions would win today.
I mean, the way that the Chiefs have been playing, 100%.
So who's your best team? Who's number 1 for you, Dylan?
My number 1 best team in the league right now is, I believe, still the Ravens. Okay. I mean, the way that they put this team together with Derrick Henry in the backfield and Lamar Jackson, it's unheard of. It's just insane. It's like Lamar on his own is a beast, and just giving him Derrick Henry for that read option, it's just insane. And Derrick Henry has been playing out of his mind too, even for his age. And he's putting up over 100 rushing yards. And it's like they don't even need receivers at this point. They can strictly just run the ball and they could win games. And that's pretty impressive itself. And they have Zay Flowers, a top 10 wide receiver as well.
He's been going off, and he's been playing top 10. I got to admit that.
He has been. And, you still have these good tight ends and a defense that's still they're a good defense, but they can disappear some games.
They made a lot of trades. They traded for Tre'Davious White, the former All-Pro corner from the Bills. They traded for Deontay Johnson, the receiver. So they're making moves to win now. So I don't hate that. Derrick Henry's. You have 2 MVP candidates on that team, Lamar and Derrick Henry. So can't hate that.
Love the Ravens. Love them.
You've been on them all year. So.
I have, and I've been right.
So number 2, it's tough. It's a toss-up for me between your Ravens and the Chiefs. And the Chiefs did beat them week 1, but there's been a lot of time since then. I'm still going to go with the Chiefs because I think this DeAndre Hopkins trade has really kind of put the icing on the cake as far as their offensive talent. Now you have a guy that can go up and catch 50-50 balls. They're pretty dangerous now. I really think that this move is bigger than people are making it out to be. I know he's not what he used to be, but with Mahomes, he could still be a number 1. I really do believe that. So I got the Chiefs at 2. Plus, they're 8-0.
And I'm going to agree with you 100%. I had the Chiefs at my number 2 as well. And I'm not ready to put them at 1, but I definitely, if you look back at my first predictions in, I think it was week 4 or 5, I had them a lot lower. I think I had them bottom 5. But they've really proven it. It's tough because this Chiefs team does not play like they don't play out of their minds. They don't play like the Ravens. They don't play like the Lions. but they always seem to win these games, and that really defines a good team. Winning the games, no matter how the game has been played, they still pull off on the end. They still back against the wall could get done, and that's what I love. That's what defines a great team.
So number 3. I'll go with the Baltimore Ravens here.
Oh,
so
there they are.
It looks like I have Lions, Chiefs, Ravens. You have Ravens, Chiefs. I know we have the Lions.
Drum roll, please. No,
we'll get into that. But look, love the Ravens. Like I said, they have 2 MVP candidates. They add Deontay Johnson. They add Zadarius Smith. The Lions add Zadarius Smith. They add Tre'Davious White at the corner. They add Deontay Johnson, the receiver.
It just doesn't really seem.
It doesn't
really seem like a logical.
Did Deontay
trade.
Johnson play last week? I didn't really see him much.
I didn't see him either, but I feel like with this type of offense, why pick up a wide receiver? You have Bateman, you have Zay,
But I think Bateman is a 2 is a little iffy. Bateman is a 3 though. That's a good 3, and he does have the case of the dropsies, but so is Deontay Johnson. He drops a lot of balls too. Yeah. So I do think with Lamar that could be potentially spicy. And I do think the Ravens' number 1 obstacle is to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Dylan.
That's all that matters. At the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of similar to the Bills. That's their kryptonite. That's everyone's kryptonite. That's the whole NFL's kryptonite.
Seriously.
And that's why I think the Chiefs they're on pace to go undefeated. I mean, they have a few good teams. I think they play the Bills. That's going to be a tough one. But if they can beat the Bills, I think they're going undefeated.
It's tough. We talked about this a lot. The 72 Dolphins, the 2008 Patriots. It's unheard of to really go undefeated in the regular season. But look, they're halfway there. They are halfway there, my friend.
And nobody's done it since,
2008.
Yeah, and since the games ate it. I don't think, what you said, 2008?
Yeah, since we had an extra game. No one's ever gone 17-0 in the regular season. So, who's your number 3, Dylan?
My number 3 is, drumroll please, the Lions.
Okay.
I can't leave them out because I think they're a deadly force. I think they can blow out opponents, not a problem. I mean, they put up points every week. And I think their running back core is their core in their offense. And that's all they need. And I mean, it comes down to having a great O-line and having a great scheme. And I give it to Dan Campbell because they've always had a great run game. I mean, no matter who they had in the backfield, whether it was DeAndre Swift or who was the other one back there? Jameson Williams?
No, Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams. But they looked like the same. They obviously look a little better now with Montgomery and Swift, but
Gibbs. You love mixing up Gibbs and Swift.
I'm sorry,
that's your big thing.
Yeah,
they're similar players,
very similar players. But this is just a team that I want to see the Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl because they're such similar teams in their own ways. Just have a heavy run offense. They're just so similar in their ways. But I like the Lions here just because they have it all put together. I mean, last season they could have gone to the Super Bowl, but I feel like this is their run.
So it's funny because I have Lions, Chiefs, Ravens. You have Ravens, Chiefs, Lions.
So we just have the Ravens and the Lions.
It's flipped. The whole top 3 is flipped. Those are the top 3 teams, though. I don't think there's any disagreement with that.
No.
And I think that leaves, I don't know if you agree with this, but the best team, take those top 3 out. Chiefs, Ravens, Lions, take those 3 out. The best team remaining is the Commanders.
Wow.
I have the Commanders at 4. That offense is Jaden Daniels looks like a 10-year veteran. He has played like the best rookie quarterback. He's played like a top 5 quarterback. That doesn't mean he's a top 5 quarterback right now. He's definitely a top 10 quarterback right now. He's playing like that.
For his rookie year, too.
Let's be honest. The supporting cast, yes, you have Terry McLaurin. We all know he's a great receiver. But Zach Ertz is old and shot. Brian Robinson, did we really know how good he was? He's having a great year now, but before this season, did we think he was that good? Austin Eckler, we thought was old and shot. This is a supporting cast that before the season we didn't even think was that elite. Now all of a sudden they're 7-2, and we're like, oh, he has a nice supporting cast. No, the quarterback has made these weapons. So,
and I'm pretty sure they haven't been 7-2 since the 1970s, something crazy like that.
And it's funny, you get new ownership, you put a new atmosphere in the building.
Give it to Dan Schneider, yeah,
was one of the worst owners of all time, Dylan.
The proof is in the pudding.
Year one, already immediate effect. So great job,
Very
Commanders.
impressive. And I really, it's crazy because like I love to see what the Commanders are doing, but like it's crazy coming from a Giants fan. They just don't seem like a threat to me. Obviously, they're a threat.
Because you always beat the Commanders.
Yeah, exactly. No, but like I respect them. Like they're a good team, and I like the way that they're playing. Obviously, I don't like how they go against my Giants, losing this week.
So who do you have at 4?
At 4, I have the Buffalo Bills.
Okay,
and
Buffalo.
The Buffalo Bills have been playing impressive ball. I mean, it was tough because you're missing your key player, Stephon Diggs. But it seems like they're a better team for it. I mean, you got James Cook that has been coming on to be a really good running back.
Ray Davis.
I mean, that 1-2 combo. That's all you need with your football. You got that 1-2. You got that read option. And at that point you can get things rolling. And you got all these young studs at wide receivers. Keon Coleman.
Shakir's been good.
Yeah.
Kincaid and Knox at tight end.
You have a bunch of young guys that this team actually looks good, and good for Josh Allen.
And let's not forget about Amari Cooper, who's just getting started there. He's just getting acclimated. He was hurt last week.
The first week he comes back, they completely, it's like they already had built chemistry.
And he was hurt last week, but he scored a touchdown his first week. Didn't play this week, but I had the Bills at number 5. They're my 5. They're my 5th best team. So, going to the season, we were like, they lost a lot of pieces on defense. Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White. They lost a lot of pieces. We're like, is this the same team? Stephon Diggs on offense?
I thought they were going to take a step back.
So did I. When you have a good head coach and you have an elite quarterback and you have some pieces that fit with that elite quarterback and a good running game, you see how much wonders it does for you. Because now we're talking about them like they're a Super Bowl contender. It's the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. As usual, the AFC, the cream of the crop, rises like it always does. So I got the Bills at 5, and they've impressed me. They really have. Josh Allen has played within himself. He's made big plays, but he hasn't turned the ball over.
He limited the turnovers. And that's the key point here.
And that's always been Josh Allen's bugaboo. Yes, the high-end plays is what makes him great. He's almost like kind of Brett Favre, too.
Yeah, and I brought this up before. Is the turnovers because he has to feel like he's forcing the ball to Stephon Diggs? Does he feel like he had to feed Stephon Diggs in order to make him happy to limit the controversy?
It would be interesting to see how many of those interceptions were Diggs targets.
That would be interesting.
We should put a little PowerPoint together for that. No, I'm kidding.
That's a lot of work to put in.
Who do you have as 5? Do you have the Commanders as a top 5 team, Dylan?
Shockingly, I do.
Okay, well, it's not shocking. They deserve it, in my opinion.
Well, listen, it's a little shocking,
Going into the season, obviously.
It's very shocking. I mean, coming into the season, I'm pretty sure their power ranking was like top 25. And then they worked all the way to top 5. And they proved it. I mean, Jaden Daniels is going to be... The way he's played, he's going to be a top 5 quarterback. He might even be up there right now, honestly. I think we got to do that next.
Is Jaden Daniels a top 5? No,
top 10? Just a top 10 quarterback.
Should we do a midseason top 10 quarterbacks? I'm down for that.
I'm down for that, too.
We'll discuss that.
We'll discuss that. But no, this team has been looking really good. I don't know what happened between last year and this year, but they look phenomenal. Like, they got their run game down.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Brian Robinson
and Eckler, they're it's like a nice 1-2. I mean, Eckler's a good receiving back, and then you got Bryanson that will just run up the gun.
Right downhill. And honestly, I think a lot of the credit for this team and this offense has to go to Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator. He got ran out in Arizona by Kyler Murray, who was the head coach there. They ran him out of town. Goes to USC with Caleb Williams, has some success as the play caller. Then, Lucky Riley was the play caller, but he was there as an advisory. Caleb Williams, kind of the right-hand guy. Chicago is about to draft Caleb Williams. They need an OC. They give Cliff Kingsbury an interview, but they don't even hire him. Goes to Washington, makes them eat their words. So I think Cliff Kingsbury deserves a lot of credit here. You see guys running, like scheming guys, pretty wide open. Mm-hmm. Good job. Like, the Commanders all around. The head coach, Dan Quinn, great job. Like, that is all around great job.
They are running the NFC East.
They really are right now. So I'll go to number 6 now. Number 6. This is tough, but I put another NFC North team here. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings. I was very, I've been a little bit of a Sam Darnold hater, but this is this is too talented of a team.
This shocks me. This
is too talented of a team not to put in the top 7 because they just Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson coming back, Aaron Jones. It's just like It's a scary team, man. And
it is. I mean, performing at high pace, like performing how they should. I mean, they look phenomenal.
And Sam Darnold is mobile. He's got a good arm on the run. He's a playmaker. He's not a Jared Goff type that just sits there. He can move around. Like, I don't know if you ever noticed that, but he's actually got good footwork in the pocket. Now, you saw that interception in the first quarter. He can make dumb throws sometimes. Now, if you can hone that in and make a lot of high-end plays, it'll pay off for them in the long run. So I got the Vikings at 6.
And shockingly, I have the Vikings at 6 too.
Okay.
Look at that. Same thing. Great minds think alike. But, I mean, everything you said and more. I mean, the Vikings, to come in 5-0 after a season where, they're basically in rebuild. You just got rid of Kirk Cousins. You just drafted a quarterback. You just drafted J.J. McCarthy. You think, take a couple seasons, get him, used to things. Then he goes out with the injury.
In the preseason, right.
So then they pick up this guy, Sam Darnold. I'm pretty sure, did they trade for him afterwards?
Nah, he was there before. He was likely going to be the starter going into the season anyway, but it cemented it when J.J. McCarthy went down for sure.
And then he just comes in and start playing great football. Yeah, it's just been so impressive. I mean, the roster itself, you kind of say, they have a stacked roster, but do they really? They have one or two great weapons, but I think Sam Darnold has more been the key point of this offense.
Well, they do have I think they have a lot of high-end offensive weapons. I don't know many players on that defense, though. I will say that. So,
it's kind of been showing with the type of games that they've been playing.
It's been a lot of shootouts.
Their defense has let up a lot of points, but their offense has been coming right back at them.
They play good against the Colts, but again, they're in a Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson type situation, so that's a little weird over there. But I'll go to number 6, and I wanted to put this. Actually, 7. So
7.
I'm going to number 7. I wanted to put this number 7 team above the Vikings, and I love this team, but Jordan Love has just turned the ball over too much, and as much as he rises them up and kind of brings them to that next level, he also holds them back in a way. So I have the Packers at the 7 seed, which some people might even think that's high, but I really think the Packers, I keep confusing the 6 and the 7 team, I really think the Packers could be a Super Bowl contender if Jordan Love just kept those high-end plays and stopped making these stupid turnovers. It's okay when you're pushing the ball 40 yards down the field, but when you're trying to throw the ball away...
out of the pocket, just making dumb decisions.
Just lunge...
Instead of taking the sack.
Just underarm a ball on a screen. When you don't need to do that, man. Josh Jacobs is not getting a good gain there. He's going to get tackled for a 5-yard loss anyway. So what are you doing? So I think Jordan Love, this also comes to experience. This is his second full season as a starter.
Absolutely.
We forget that sometimes. He's got probably less than 30 starts in his career. So he's still learning. I think this is a top 10 quarterback. Because as much as he turns the ball over, you see a ton of high-end plays. This just wasn't his game. You saw he was clearly hurt, the groin injury. You don't know if he's going to... The reason they're obviously not higher is because you don't know how long Jordan Love's going to last this season because he's been hurt a lot. And you don't know how much he's going to hold them back. So I would understand them being even lower than this, but their offense is so high-powered and star-powered, I can't put them lower. So who's your 7?
Well, I like that because... the Packers are definitely in my top 10, but they're not at my top 7. My top 7 team in the NFL right now is the 49ers. And it's unfortunate because I feel like I have to talk negatively about this because they used to be a top 3 team in the NFL, but then they slowly worked their way down. And that's strictly because the way that they've been playing. And I can't blame anybody on this offense because it's just been injuries after injuries after injuries after injuries, but they've still been getting it done. You have some players coming back, like you have Christian McCaffrey coming back this week, so I think this is their turning point right now, and I think this is the time for them to start putting things back together. But they just haven't been playing up to expectations.
They haven't
after coming off a Super Bowl.
They haven't, but you kind of think that they might start the way they are with the head coach and the roster they have, the veteran players, knowing how to win in big moments. You think they're going to turn around eventually, so I'm not ready to roll them out just yet. Number 8, I'm going to put the Philadelphia Eagles. I think Jalen Hurts has really played effective the last couple of weeks. He hasn't turned the ball over. Once you got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith back, he's kind of been back to I wouldn't say 2022 Jalen Hurts. I wouldn't even say 2023 Jalen Hurts. He's somewhere in between those two things. He's been good. He hasn't been that elite player in 2022, but he hasn't been as reckless as 2023. You see a lot. He's been great on that goal ball. Mm-hmm. I think A.J. Brown actually left the game early too, but that Devontae Smith touchdown, that was a dot. If he has one strength throwing the ball, that go route, he has nice touch on that go route. And you see Jalen Hurts making high-end plays, running the ball, the go routes, without the turnovers. So the Eagles are just so talented, they have to be in my top 10. So I have them at 8.
I like it. They've been playing really good football. I'll give you that. At my number 8, I have the Texans. And this is a team, again, like the 49ers, have digressed a little bit. They have taken a step back. But it doesn't take away from the fact how talented this roster is. Again, they are missing a lot of key pieces. They're missing Stephon Diggs. They're missing Nico Collins. But just the fact that they have Joe Mixon back there, he's been a game changer for this team. And him paired with C.J. Stroud, they can win games. And obviously they haven't been dominating games, but I feel like a healthy roster here, and they can easily be working their way up to a top 3 position. But right now I have to put them at my top 8 because they haven't been playing great football, but they've still been winning games.
I can't argue that they're 6-3, winning their division right now. They're going to be a playoff team. C.J. Stroud, I still think is a top 10 quarterback, so I can't hate on that there. Number 9, I'm going to put the Atlanta Falcons. I think people think I'm a little too high on them right now.
That is a bit high.
I don't think it's high. They're 6-3, and think about it. They had all this talent on offense in past years. Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and without the right quarterback, they haven't been able to do shit. You get Kirk Cousins there, all of a sudden they look capable. All of a sudden Kyle Pitts looks like a player. Darnell Mooney, who couldn't do shit in the Bears last year, comes to the Falcons, looks like a player.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins really righted the ship here. I think this is actually a very mature and organized team. And that wins in November. That wins in December. That wins in January. They're probably, now, especially with the Bucs, missing Godwin and Evans, they're probably going to win the NFC South.
Runner, yeah. They definitely are.
I think they're a top 10 team. I think the way they play and the style that they play and the amount of production they're getting from their offensive pieces, I think Drake London just got hurt recently, but he's been balling out too. You have a top 10 team here with Kirk Cousins. I think he's really righted the ship for Atlanta. So good job for the Falcons. I have them at 9. Go ahead.
Good for them. At my number 9, I have the Green Bay Packers. And I'm very high on the Packers. I mean, they came in. It's similar to the Texans. They came in, to end of the season, coming in really hot. Were they going to reproduce? Were they going to do the same thing? I think they have. They got Josh Jacobs, and that's another key player that's really made a difference in this offense. I mean, Josh Jacobs, maybe a top 10 running back right now.
Yes, he is.
And when you got when you have Jordan Love, he still looks like a really good quarterback. He's taken a step back with these turnovers. He has to roll back the turnovers. He has to make smarter plays, and I feel like that's the only way they're going to win football games. If Jordan Love, steadies the ship and, he figures that out.
The key is Jordan Love to have the high-end plays and just cut the turnovers maybe in half.
They would look like a completely
maybe make
different team.
one dumb throw instead of 2 dumb throws a game. Yes, they would look completely different.
And that takes time,
Again,
like you said before, this is his second full year coming.
Doesn't even have 30 starts yet.
He doesn't. So I think they're good. They're a good team, and they're going to be better in the future. But we just got to give it time.
Number 10. This rounds in my top 10. I really hate to do this because I'm kind of a hater of this team. In the past, I've been the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike Tomlin, I thought last year they would go 8-9. They go 10-7. I thought this year they would go 8-9. They're already 6-2. We're already about to eat my words. So Mike Tomlin shows give him a capable quarterback and he can make damage. Justin Fields comes in. They're 4-2. He plays the best football he's ever played. They bench him. Go to Russell Wilson. And they look like a better offense. All of a sudden, George Pickens looks like an elite receiver. Elite receiver.
You kind of see what the offense is capable of with the
I've eaten my word.
Good quarterback.
Right. I've eaten my words for Russell Wilson because he's making touch throws down the field. That touchdown throw to Austin in the Giants game was an elite throw.
Yeah. And the key point is all sideline passes. It's just that they weren't. You mentioned it before, you know.
Fields couldn't hit them.
Exactly.
You saw in I mean, I hate to throw TikTok out there, but I saw like videos on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, where like people were showing film, guys running wide open on the sideline, and Fields just looked at them like directly in the eye and would not throw the ball because I don't think he trusted himself. Russell's gonna throw that ball, so
yeah. And he's better with those sideline vertical passes,
and it's been working. So I gotta give a lot of props to Russell Wilson, a lot of props to Mike Tomlin, and shout out Najee Harris, who's really running with conviction this season.
And is it because the team that he's under? Is it because of their winning games? You know, him behind Russell Wilson.
Exactly. So I gotta give a lot of props to the Steelers, even though and TJ Watt's a beast. Let's be honest. We don't even have to talk much about that. But I got the Steelers rounding out my top 10.
Nice. That's a solid top 10. At my top 10, I have the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the way that they've been playing the last 2 weeks has really proven what this offense is capable of. When you have Saquon Barkley, one of the best, I know, I'm ready to say, the best running back in the league, that just makes incredible plays. I mean, we saw it. He can go out for passes. You saw him with that touchdown catch. I mean, with breaking tackles in the open field, you know, jumping over, hurdling players. I mean, backwards, you know, doing a little spin move in the air, hitting them, emoting in the air. Like, it's crazy. And then you have maybe one of the best 1-2 wide receivers. It's just, it was so disappointing because they didn't put it together, but now they're finally putting it together. And it's impressive, and I'm excited to see what they have moving forward. If they keep going with this, they could easily work their way up to a top. I can see them making the Super Bowl with this type of roster if they can keep doing this.
They still have a shot to win the NFC East. They're only a game back.
They
haven't played Washington yet, so you have 2 games in front of you against Washington. You're a game back. I'm not saying I think the Commanders are going to win the division, but the Eagles have everything right in front of them right now. They're 6-2 with 2 games against Washington. You control your fate right now for the NFC East.
Absolutely.
So I wouldn't say it's over. 3 teams for me that just missed my top 10. I have number 11, the Houston Texans, just missing my top 10. I'm just not confident. You know, they lost Nico Collins for quite some time. He'll be back, I think, soonish, but still you have some time. Stephon Diggs out for the year. That's huge. You saw the momentum he brought when he came on. He gets open on a lot of routes. So one of the best route runners in the league. And like I said in the last episode we had, second year with C.J. Stroud, defenses finally have some film on him. They have a whole season of film in the NFL with him. They make adjustments. You kind of see it now. He doesn't have as much talent. They're the hunted. They're not the hunters anymore. Yeah. And a lot of pressure on him and expectations. And like he's still a top 10 guy, but he's clearly slightly regressed. Slight step back. I think he'll improve again, but this was expected from me. So Texans at 11. 12. 49ers. I know you have them in your top 10. It's hard for me to put them there because you know, they have so many injuries this year. McCaffrey comes back. I feel like that there's a possibility he might pop his Achilles when he comes back. This feels like an injury that might be lasting until he gets surgery. Like, this might be something he had to go to Germany. It just feels weird to me. Debo getting pneumonia, Ayuk out for the year. Just does not feel like the Niners year. And 13, the Chargers. Great coaching, great quarterback. I think Justin Herbert has 10 touchdowns, 1 pick on the year. He's been out of his mind. But they just don't have enough talent in that team. They have a great defense. They have talent in that defense, but their only receiver is Ladd McConkey. So I can't see them going that far in the playoffs. But they've been greatly coached, and Justin Herbert's been playing great football, and their defense has been creating pressure. So Texans 11, 49ers 12, Chargers 13. What are 3 teams for you that missed?
So it's very similar to yours. I have the Falcons at my 11, and it's a team that I wanted to put higher, but I just couldn't. Kirk Cousins is a key point in this offense, but I don't think he could bring his team to multiple wins. I mean, a couple here and there, sure, but I don't think they can keep this up. I really don't. At number 12, I have the Rams.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see. I knew that I left the Rams out, but I didn't realize how low I had them still. Wow. They're probably 14 for me. Go ahead.
And I feel like this is a team that can, again, this is one of those teams that can win a Super Bowl. I mean, the way they were playing good football with the amount of injuries they had. I mean, they were missing Cooper Kupp, they were missing Puka, and they were still winning games. Mm-hmm. I mean, there were some games in there that they looked pretty bad, and that's the only reason why I have them a little low because, you know, you can't be getting blown out. If you're
To the
considered
Cardinals,
no.
Who also actually left off nowhere near this list, which I'm starting to reconsider. But who is your 13?
At my 13, I have the Bucks, and
The Bucks without Evans and Godwin, you still have them up there.
yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of good teams this year. Weird.
They almost beat the second best team in the league. It went to overtime, and they could still win games without Mike Evans, without Godwin. They're still winning games. They're
coming close.
They're coming really close. They're being still a very competitive team. So you got to give them props for that.
Okay, so my top 10. Number 1, I have the Lions. Number 2, I have the Chiefs. Number 3, I have the Ravens. Number 4, I have the Commanders. Number 5, I have the Bills. Number 6, I have the Vikings. 7, Packers. 8, Eagles. 9, Falcons. 10, Steelers. And the 3 that missed for me are 11, Texans. 12, Niners. 13, Chargers.
And for me, I have 1, the Ravens, 2, Chiefs, 3, Lions, 4, Bills, 5, Commanders, 6, Vikings, 7, 49ers, 8, Texans, 9, Packers, and 10, Eagles. My honorable mentions were 11, Falcons, 12, Rams, and 13, Bucks.
All right, so how much fun did you have with that, man?
That was fun. That was a bit stressful. I mean, there was times I just went back and switch that, and then wait, no, I gotta switch that. You know?
I just realized, the Rams. I realized I left off this. The Cardinals are 5-4. Like
the Cardinals are
the
one.
Broncos are 5-4.
Cardinals might be the 14th honorable mention for me.
Broncos are 5-4. There's actually a lot of either really good or really bad teams. There's not a lot in the middle this year. It's weird.
No,
Very weird season. So, all right, midseason top 10 done. Stay tuned for our next episode for our Week 10 predictions. Thanks, Dylan.
Hell yeah.
Let's do the next one. Thanks, guys. Take care.